Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Girouard, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some second-round NFL draft targets. And this is because the Saints actually traded away their first-round draft pick during the NFL draft last season. So if you remember, they got Trevor Penning, they got Chris Olave, they made a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles on draft day, so they do not have a first-round draft pick as of right now when we're filming this video. That being said, I did some research. There's actually a pretty good history of second-round draft picks for the New Orleans Saints. And right now, the biggest needs, in my opinion, for the Saints are going to be your quarterback, running back, safety, defensive tackle, offensive guard, and wide receiver. Need a lot of things. The draft is a good place to go get some cheap talent. And let's just take a quick look at the second-round draft picks from previous years. Michael Thomas, 2016. Marcus Williams, obviously you lose him in free agency this offseason, but he was a baller when he was in New Orleans. Eric McCoy just signed a massive extension as your center. Pete Werner has been leading the team in tackles, been locking it up as a linebacker. And Alontae Taylor, a name that a lot of people were a little iffy on at first, even me included. I was like, it's all right, he's good. I thought there could have been a better use of that pick, but I could not be quicker to swallow my own words on that. I mean, he has been a dog. He's been a beast. He hasn't been afraid of anything. Second-round draft picks for the Saints haven't been terrible over the past few years by the guys on the name or the list of names right here. So I think maybe the second round is a place you could get some talent and maybe steal a player and maybe walk away with something you guys are proud of in a draft pick yet again. But before we get started, I want to get everyone's gauge. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up icon if you're ready for the offseason. If this season's just a drag, if this season's just been a bummer, if you're just over it, if you're tired of how this season's gone on, if you're tired of watching Saints football for the season, because I know I am. Unfortunately, we have a few more weeks. It's just been ugly. I love the Saints, but it's so hard to watch. So go ahead, hit the thumbs up icon if you're ready for the offseason, ready for draft stuff, trades, free agency, all that to pick up and get going. All right, so to get started, a name that we are very familiar with on this channel, Hendon Hooker, the quarterback out of Tennessee. He's a phenomenal athlete. He has a very strong arm, and he has great dual threat ability, which I think you could open up the offense with. If you decided to keep Pete Carmichael as your offensive coordinator, I think Hendon Hooker might be able to open up his offensive playbook and maybe make something happen. That being said, he's 24 years old right now. He just tore his ACL against South Carolina on November 19th. He will be entering the draft as a 25-year-old. And this is where it kind of gets tricky. He wouldn't even start a game in the NFL until he's likely 26 years old. And that is a risk that is kind of hard to wrap your head around. I really like what he has done at Tennessee. Just under 70% in completion percentage. 3,000 yards passing. A 27-2 interception or TD to interception ratio in the SEC when you're playing tough defensive opponents in Alabama, LSU, Florida, Georgia. Quality opponents. You're playing good against good defenses. He's not turning the ball over. And he also has 430 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns. Hendon Hooker is a quality quarterback, and he's a quality athlete, and he's a quality football player. But like I said, he's 25 years old right now. He's 24 years old right now, 25 entering the draft. Probably won't even start a game until he's 26 due to that ACL injury. And let's not sit here and say, oh, he's young. He can get back on the field, and we can get production out of him immediately. Look what happened when you rushed Jameis Winston back from an ACL injury. He's played like dog water all season. He hasn't done anything, and he hasn't even gotten to see the field outside of the first few weeks. The pros and cons for Hendon Hooker, though, are pretty intriguing. His size, he's got NFL size. He's got an NFL build at 6'4", 218 pounds. Pretty solid arm strength. He can move the ball downfield really, really well, as we saw in that Tennessee versus Alabama game, which was just absolutely electric. Producer Petey over here, I know, was losing his mind. The footwork is a little inconsistent, and at 24 years old, being 25, you'd want that to be a little bit sharper, and he's going to need some time to develop. Being in the Tennessee offense, he needs some time to truly get adjusted to the NFL and to the NFL level, where he's had a pretty nice offense around him and a nice scheme around him in order to succeed, But guys, if you want to hit me up and you want to get more Saints coverage, follow me on Twitter at TraceGirouard48. The link will be in the comment and the description of this video. So guys, hit me up at TraceGirouard48. I'm tweeting, I'm posting about the Saints. I'm always up there. I'm always trying to chop it up with the Who Dat Nation, so hit me up. And guys, I'm really excited to announce we're going to be live for Saints vs. Buccaneers Monday Night Football. I know I was just sitting here saying, oh, it's brutal. We're going to have to watch another game of Saints football in another few weeks. But if we're going to watch it, we might as well watch it together and have some fun, right? So come on, subscribe, join the party, join the watch party, turn on your notifications. I'm going to be looking for you, Lil Lanagovich, if I said your name right. I'm going to be looking for you. Hope to see you guys out there. Kenneth, I hope to see you guys at the watch party. So guys, be sure to subscribe and join the watch party this Monday night. All right, next guy, it's going to be Brian Branch. He is an Alabama defensive back, a safety that is, honestly, I love him. I really love what he can do. He's reckless. Not reckless. He's aggressive. He's fast. He's hard-hitting. Alabama produces consistently good talent at the safety position, and he can play your strong and nickel safety role. So maybe Brian Branch is your C.J. Gardner-Johnson replacement after you traded him away stupidly to the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, the Saints need some more young defensive back young defensive back depth. Look at this depth chart. Marshawn Lattimore, who's been hurt. Chris Harris Jr., who's old. He's in his 12th season in the NFL. Tyrann Mathieu. I love the Honey Badger. He's kind of old. Marcus May. He's not old, but he's pretty good. But, probably could use another guy there, or probably some more depth. Paulson Adebo, he's been lighting it up. Alontae Taylor, your rookie. Bradley Roby, another guy. Dan Sorensen, he's washed. JT Gray, your backup nickelback, he's not bad. He's not great. Point being, you need more talent. And with Brian Branch, you get that. 78 tackles, 2 sacks last season, 1 interception, and 7 pass breakups for the Tide. And I think that he's just another quality guy. He's another quality player. And the Saints, they need to get younger and faster on defense. This is the team that has had most of their identity be on defense. They have always played with swagger, gusto, charisma, and just nothing but energy. But that's not been the case this season. Bring some youth back and some energy back onto this defense. Get your swagger back, get your fun back, and get your confidence back, and let's play some Saints football. Maybe Brian Branch could be the guy who does it for you. So I want to ask y'all this before we move into the next guy. What's your biggest draft need? What do you think is the biggest need for the New Orleans Saints this offseason? I said mine. I said quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive tackle, safety. I think there's a lot of things that the Saints could go for in this draft. So let me know, what do you think is your biggest draft need? And if you guys want to play some bets on the Saints, check out our sportsbook partner, chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125. And what does that mean? You get you put in $100, you get 125% back, meaning you have $225 to gamble with. You guys can lay down some lettuce on this Saints-Bucks game. I might be hitting the over on this because the Saints, it's been ridiculous. It's been an abysmal performance last week especially, but they're due for a game. They're due for another blow-up. Yeah, they did well against the Rams, but come on, who plays Tom Brady and the Bucks better than the New Orleans Saints? So I'm going to be betting the over in this game. Go ahead and bet alongside with me. Chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125. All right, another one. And I see this name in our comment section all the time. And every single time I go back and I look at his tape, oh man, am I excited about this kid. I am in love with this guy. Grayson McCall is a dog. He has great accuracy and mobility and is very impressive in the pocket. He's out of Coastal Carolina. The Sun Belt it got its name, the Fun Belt, and I like to say a part of it is because of Grayson McCall. I mean, this kid is a dog. He's a beast. He did suffer a foot injury versus Appalachian State on November 3rd, so that is something to monitor. It's not really going to affect him in his draft stock. He's going to be able to still go at his pro day and participate in the combine, still participate in all sorts of in the Senior Bowl if he gets invited. But I would expect his draft stock to rise as soon as he does some of these things. And you have to consider the competition he plays against. He doesn't play against the cream of the crop. He's in the Sun Belt playing against the teams like Troy and Texas State and Arkansas State and a bunch of just not bad, not great teams, JMU. I mean, come on. But they're not the SEC. They're not Big 10. They're not Big 12. But this kid is a freaking dog. Pros and cons of this guy, he's athletic and he can take off and run. He gets the ball out quickly and he's a he's accurate with his passes. He has really quick release. He doesn't hold on to the ball too long, but he does have some cons. He has less traditional drop back attempts. He has an average arm strength in terms of getting a ball downfield and really pushing the ball downfield. I don't love that. I don't hate it, but some stuff you can coach and teach and stuff. And, with proper coaching, I think that Grayson McCall could excel in the NFL. And you look at his stats this season. 68 or just under 70% completion rate, just like Hendon Hooker. 2,314 yards in passing. 21 touchdowns and 1 interception this season. 165 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. And also, just to say this, he will be phenomenal as a speed option quarterback. RPO is absolutely dangerous. And I want to just say this as well. 70 touchdowns to 7 interceptions in your career as a college quarterback. I don't care where you're playing. That is absolutely lights out football, and that is quality football. So this is why I want to ask y'all this question. You guys pick a quarterback. I want to get the gauge of the Who Dat Nation. Y'all let me know on this. Who do you want? Type HH for Hendon Hooker. Type GM for Grayson McCall. Let me know. I honestly don't know which one I would say. Only off the age factor on the spot I'm putting myself on it, I'm going to have to type GM for Grayson McCall. Age is a little bit of a concern for Hendon Hooker, but I want to hear from you guys. It's not about me. It's about y'all. Get down in the comments. Let me know. All right. One of our last guys. We have one more after this, but Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama. The Saints and Alabama running backs, just like Mark Ingram, that's a pretty good relationship, I'd say. Alvin Kamara, though, we have to be realistic. He is facing suspension next season. He might miss up to 4 to 6 games due to the incident that happened in Las Vegas during the Pro Bowl weekend. Mark Ingram, he's also running out of gas. He's a Saints legend. I love Mark Ingram, and I've said it more times than I could even count on this channel. But you have to be realistic. The NFL is a business. You got to be smart with your money. You got to be smart with your talent. And Mark Ingram's not going to play at a high level forever. We've already seen him start declining. He's a running back too, and I just don't know if I necessarily trust him to take running back 1 reps for multiple games. But he has a pretty similar play style to Alvin Kamara, being a dual threat of running back. I mean, look at this, guys. 136 carries, 853 yards, 7 touchdowns, and just over 6 yards per carry. It's pretty solid on the ground. But then you look at his receiving stats, 42 receptions, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 9 yards per catch on average for that. So my question to you guys, or to y'all as the Who Dat Nation, do the Saints really need 2 Alvin Kamaras? Do the Saints need 2 guys that do the exact same thing? I personally, as a Saints and lifelong Saints fan, a somewhat, I would say, NFL expert, I'm definitely earning my stripes here. I would say, though, I prefer the boom and zoom style of play. I love having the idea of having 2 just absolute menaces at the backfield with Alvin Kamara and Jahmyr Gibbs. But at the same time, I don't think you can beat an offensive scheme that you have your pass catching and you're fast, you're quick, speedy guy, and you're Alvin Kamara. And then you get a bruiser just on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and goal, whatever it is. You have somebody, you just give them the rock and they're going to freaking put it they're going to put it where they need to get there. They're going to put it across the first down marker. They're going to get it across the goal line. That's my personal preference on play style. But again, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just would say maybe go for a little bit of a bruiser running back. But then the last guy, oh boy, is he a big one. And not just a big name, but a big fella. Siaki Ika out of Baylor. Some of y'all might remember this name. Some of y'all might be like, wait, I know this guy. I've seen this name. I've seen this guy's stats. I've seen this guy play. And that's because he was an LSU transfer after sustaining an injury, only played 3 games, transferred to LSU after his sophomore season. But, guys, he is a legit mountain. Like, I was going to put on the graphic he's a bowling ball or a boulder or whatever the other terms could be. But he's not that. A mountain. 6'4", 350 pounds. The dude just takes up space. He holds down double teams really well, and he also clogs up the offensive line, and he clogs up the running lanes, and he causes trouble for running backs, for quarterbacks trying to scramble, for all sorts of those things. And the Saints' run defense hasn't been good this year, guys. It's been average at best. I mean, 22nd overall in yards per game, in rushing yards per game, 129.1. Just under 1 rushing touchdown per game. They're averaging about 1 touchdown per game on the ground. 7.2 first downs per game on the ground. That's 20th in the league. And 4.5 yards per attempt. Yards per attempt. That's 18th. So it's like, guys, this is very, very extremely below average. Like, you got to have somebody who can stop the run. And I think Siaki Ika could do that. 24 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 0 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. And you guys might be looking at the 0 sacks, the tackles for loss numbers, and they might be low, and you might be concerned. But you're not getting a pass rusher out of Siaki Ika. You're getting a guy who elevates the defensive line around him to do that. Siaki Ika is a quality run stopper who takes up space. And if you look at the defensive line depth chart, he's somebody who can make the guys around him better. He can make Cam Jordan play a little better, who's also getting old. Marcus Davenport, if the Saints decide to bring him back in free agency, he's somebody who will get to play a little bit better because the offensive line across from the Saints will have to account for for Siaki Ika's size and strength and talent, that it's going to open up Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, Peyton Turner, Shai Tuttle, David Onyemata, Marcus all these guys. It's going to open up all these guys to do a little bit more on the defense. So I want to finish off today's show. Who is your top draft target? Let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like, turn on your notifications, all the fun stuff. Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. I'll catch you next time.